Pleasant good morning, friends, and welcome to another edition of Good Morning Huntsville. We are up bright and early, a little brighter and earlier than we normally are when we have this show this morning, but we are live from Farmhouse Cafe and excited to be here this morning. It is the Huntsville Walker County Chamber of Commerce Small Business Breakfast. By the way, if you are hungry this morning, you don't even have to be a member of the chamber. You just bring a few bucks and come down here to Farmhouse Cafe in Huntsville, and we'll get you fed this morning. You'll also meet some great business owners and other leaders in our community. But specifically this morning, that's why we wanted to be here to promote what's going on with the chamber. But I am joined by my very good friend, a chemistry professor at Sam Houston State University, and not just that, involved in many things, also the president of our Huntsville, Texas Rotary Club. Good to have you today, Dave.
Thank you, Rob. It's great to be here.
Mr. Dave Thompson in the house, and I told Dave earlier, I said, Dave, you can start a side business. Dave is a wealth of knowledge. He's very humble, but I told him earlier, I said, you could start a side business. People would probably pay, a good amount of money just to hang out with you and just absorb all the wisdom you have, my friend.
I'm not sure, but
well, Dave, there's so many great things that are going on. First and foremost, thank you for being here bright and early this morning with us and just sharing some of your knowledge about what is happening in Rotary. That's why we wanted you on today, as you have just now transitioned into the new president at the Huntsville Rotary Club. And I always have to say Huntsville, Texas, because if you search for it on Facebook, Alabama always comes up.
That's right. Yep.
But so many good things happening. First, before we get started, just give us a little background about you. I know that you've been a professor of chemistry at Sam Houston since 2009. Maybe give us a little bit of a rundown how you got there, man.
Okay, so I am, I have an interesting sort of a journey. I grew up from Minnesota originally, and my parents my dad's a physician, my mom's a nurse, and so and they had a heart for mission. So we actually, when I was about in third, when I was a real little, when I was a baby, we were in West Africa doing smallpox eradication.
Wow!
And then they came back and did some further studies, and then went back with medical missions into Chad. And they were there for about my high school years and grade school years. We were living in Chad, West Africa, and then came back and went to college. I went to college in Minnesota, a small college called Carleton College, and then went into the Peace Corps. So I went into Ghana and I taught junior high school for 2 years, and again in West Africa with the U.S. Peace Corps. Came back, did a PhD in chemistry at Madison, Wisconsin, and went on and did a postdoctoral research at Stanford University, and then taught for a while up in Wisconsin and moved down to Sam Houston in 2009 to start teaching here. And I love teaching at Sam Houston. It's just a great place to be.
I mean, it's such an incredible journey. And one of the things that really stands out, of course, you were there in Africa and helping out there. But then what I really, the Peace Corps.
Yeah.
Can you tell us, I know that we didn't pre-screen for these questions, but that's kind of the flow of how it goes. But tell us a little bit more about the Peace Corps. I think that is something that's just so amazing, David.
Yeah, it's an initiative where Americans can actually be young or old. You go and you do 2 years of service in some country elsewhere in the world. And so for me, it was in Ghana, and it was in this place where they grew cocoa. So the source of chocolate bars, and that was the mainstay of the economy there.
Were you eating a lot of chocolate over there? Or not?
No, the amazing thing is there's a lot of great food. I mean, really delicious food, but chocolate mostly isn't people didn't eat a lot of chocolate there. They grew the cocoa and sold it.
That was it. It's kind of like if you work as a plumber, you don't go home talking about plumbing, right? And so if you're there and you're working with chocolate all day, you don't talk about it or eat it, I guess.
I think so, and I think that may have changed now. That was like 30 years ago, and so but it was a beautiful, beautiful country, and just a really good, interesting stretching experience for me to be able to serve in that way and to think about what it means to teach. And that's where I really realized that I really want to teach and I want to continue doing this, but I wanted to do it at the university level. So
we're here with David Thompson this morning, live from Farmhouse Cafe, the Chamber Breakfast, and talking again, Dave, a chemistry professor at Sam Houston State University. The Peace Corps kind of transition us now into why I wanted to have you on today, to talk more about Rotary. You talk about service above self. That is the big motto of the Rotary Club International.
Yep.
And for those of you, we won't go into the history of Rotary because there's a lot back when it started in Chicago many years ago. I believe celebrating our 120th something year now, if I'm not mistaken, which is just amazing. We'll have another show sometime where we really dig into the history of Rotary because it is quite amazing. But David, you have now transitioned from just being a member now to being El Capitan of the Rotary Club. It's a pretty big weight on your shoulders as our president, but you handle it with grace, and we appreciate John Hendricks. But now your leadership. Tell us a little bit about just what the Rotary Club of Huntsville does. There were some things over the years that Rotary has been involved in and just giving back to different organizations. Tell us a little bit about the history of the club. You don't have to go all the way back to when the club was founded, but just about how Rotary is involved here in Huntsville.
So Rotary has been here for about 100 years, and it has been an integral part of the community. We have many of our members are longstanding Huntsville members who are deeply involved in the community and service, either as former mayors or as people at the university or as business people, and just have a real deep heart for this community. And we've been involved in many different ways and we partner with different people. So for example, we've been involved in helping to support the Arise to Read program. And
BJ and Holly have done such great work with that over the years.
Such
McMichael.
Beautiful, yes. And the Good Shepherd Mission, we've been a longtime partner of theirs. Safe House and Housing Insecure. We have often done things in collaboration with the Boys and Girls Club. We're so grateful for Michelle Spencer and
that's
all
happening
the
right
folks
now.
out there.
Working on a new playground.
That's right. I'm leaving from here afterwards to help install their new.
It's good to do that in the morning too.
And so we love it when we we're all in this together, right?
Yes,
no
sir.
matter what particular those of us who care about Huntsville, and so. We last year too, we partnered with the university on a project at the Trinity River Food Bank where we were doing repainting and things. That was something that was initiated by the food service at the university, and then they invited us to come alongside as partners, and it was just really fun to meet them and work with them. They're a great group of people, and it was great to work for that, collaborate on that good cause.
And one of the things that I love about Rotary, so you just mentioned the food bank, the Trinity River Food Bank. Of course, they're officed over at Faith Family Church here downtown.
Yeah.
But it's so neat because if I wasn't in Rotary, I would never know this. I would think of a food bank as just a place that gives food to people, but they do so much more than that. They're working on projects now to provide a computer lab to teach different classes, and we saw some of that yesterday, which was really exciting.
Yes, yeah. So we have some. We're always trying to, in Rotary, think about how can we innovate in ways that will help the community. And one of our members, Lee Jen Lester, has been really involved with exactly what you're saying, thinking about how we can really just help folks move ahead, right, and get to a point of independence and things. And when we realize that takes a lot more than what's the old saying? It takes a lot more than just food, right?
Sure.
So training and providing the ability to learn is so important for that. And so so we're excited about that. And we know that these things take time. So I think that's another thing about Rotary is we're in it for the long haul, and we like to make commitments and hold on to them and keep working at stuff.
Absolutely. Yeah. And we meet every Wednesday at noon. You can come by. Please come by. Be my guest. Be David's guest. We'd love to have you.
Yeah.
We meet every Wednesday at noon over at the Gibbs Conference Center there at the Sam Houston Museum. You come by noon Wednesday, 12 o'clock. I'll buy your lunch. And so please come by. Be a member, learn more about what we do, then decide to be a member. I think once you come a few times, you're going to say, this is an organization for me. Something I was excited about, Dave, is our membership had grown by about 15 members just in the last year, and that's exciting.
Yeah, John did a great job with that, and we're so grateful to that, and we're just so grateful to be coming out back post-COVID. COVID was just tough, and so it's just really good to be back in person, meeting together. Yes, and so if you do want to come, Rich Ballinger is going to be our speaker this coming Wednesday on the golf at Sam Houston State University, golf management specifically, and the following Wednesday will be Brent Sherrod, who's our Public Works Director here at the City of Huntsville, and he'll be talking about Huntsville water. So if either of those topics do interest you, please feel free to join us. We meet at the Walker Education Center on the Sam Houston campus at noon on Wednesdays.
Something exciting about Rotary, too. You come, you hear the programs, and there's so many different types of programs that you'll hear from what Dave just talked about, folks that are involved with the city, more people at the university, even athletics. But it's not just about that. I mean, at the clubs that I've been to in the past, we had a mission director from NASA come and speak, and that was exciting. We had the voice of an NBA team come and speak and talk about his experiences, who actually came through Huntsville at one point. So there's a variety of programs and topics that are of interest to everyone that you'll enjoy and be a part of. Dave, as we continue, I know briefly you got to get going here in just a few moments, but as we move forward now under your leadership, what are some of the ideas that you have? I know the theme this year for Rotary is Imagine Rotary. Every year there is a new theme for the entire organization globally. This year it's Imagine Rotary. You've kind of aligned some projects and ideas with that theme. Tell us a little bit about those.
So I think that doing good things is often hard, and so I want us to imagine embracing the difficult challenge of making good change. And we fortunately have a great club and many people doing that. And so some of the things that we're going to be working on this year, one of them coming up quickly is we're going to be help sponsoring an Alzheimer's walk in the fall to raise money for Alzheimer's, and in the spring we're going to be doing something to raise money for polio. Polio has been for a long time at the heart of Rotary. We've been fighting it, for many years, and we're so close to eradicating it. And so that's something that we're working on, and we want to connect that. Polio is a disease that causes people to lose use of their arms and legs and things, and so we want to really focus on a Huntsville project that focuses on folks who face those sorts of difficulties and improving handicapped accessibility somehow. So we're still brainstorming on that. So that's the Imagine part, right? And then we're working at Marcus's work. Gillespie is going to be leading a project. So that'll be Daniel Bays who's going to be leading that project, and Marcus Gillespie is going to be leading a project on in collaboration with some other folks, David Stanley and things, on building homes for Safety Town, where the kids come out and interact with people. So we keep trying to renovate those buildings, put new buildings out at Safety Town, where the kids come out and ride their tricycles and meet the police and the fire staff and all these kind of wonderful people. We'll be working on every year we give scholarships to a bunch of Huntsville high school students, so that's something we're going to continue. And we hand out to the young kids in our elementary schools the I Like Me books. And we're also working on thinking about how do we sustain our Huntsville environment. Even as we grow, how do we keep it a beautiful place?
And that's right up your alley with chemistry, too.
It is. And so we're going to be working on we have a long-standing road cleanup that we do, but we're also going to, so we'll continue that. And we're working on a tree planting thing. We've been collaborating with this for several years in the city of Huntsville, and it's developing. We're collaborating this year with the Boys and Girls Club of Huntsville, and we're going to do some experiments with them where we try planting the trees in slightly different ways and measuring them as they grow and seeing which ways are best for helping the trees learn. And so it'll be both a learning project and also a project to help beautify the city of Huntsville. And then another program that we're working on is this food bank, the Trinity River Food Bank collaboration, and seeing how we can help with the education component of that, of helping people gain the education that will really help them to make a transition that just puts them in a financially more stable place.
So many things in the pipeline. David, you're bringing so much to the table that is just going to be a tremendous benefit to the Rotary Club, and then in return, that is going to go back and benefit the community through scholarships, through helping out kids, through service projects. You talk about so many areas that need help. Rotary is trying to attack those areas. That's what we do at Rotary. And again, so thankful for your leadership. I know you got to get rolling here in just a few moments. I wanted to put the website up on the screen for those that are joining us on social media. You can visit HuntsvilleRotary.org. I had to make sure that because sometimes it'll go to Alabama, but it is HuntsvilleRotary.org. And also make sure that you look up the Rotary Club of Huntsville, Texas, and like that Facebook page. Don't need to be a member to like that page, but you'll be able to stay up to date. Rhonda Ellisor does such a tremendous job putting out a newsletter and also information there about what we're doing in Rotary. So I'm excited. I told you yesterday I'm really excited. All the things that you have in the pipeline. I think that it is something tremendous for Huntsville as we continue. John did such great work, and that's what I love about Rotary is every year there is kind of a change of hand, if you will. But John is still extremely active. Other members are still active, and it just brings fresh ideas every year.
The truth is that it's a really committed club, and I am just a small part of that. I'm so grateful for that, but it's people like you, Rob, who are in the club too, people like so many people. It's just many hands working together to do good things, and it's a joy to work when you're with a group of people that are willing to pull and work and just have good vision. It's a joy to be given the ability to just stand at the wheel, right, a little bit.
Absolutely. So, well, David, we're going to have you again because I would love for you to share some of your photos with your world travels where you went with students you shared that at Rotary.
Sam Houston and actually today I'm headed back to the Boys and Girls Club. with Sam Houston students, and we'll be meeting up with, I know Marcus will be there from Rotary, and so, yeah.
Awesome.
Be beautiful.
We're going to do that again, so we'll plan that maybe in the next couple of months. And what's cool about how we do this on social is folks can actually see that. I can show those photos as you talk about them. So we'll have a program dedicated to that sometime, if that sounds good.
That sounds great.
I know your rate's pretty high, so I'm going to have to figure out how to – we'll get someone to spot. No, just kidding, David. Well, once again, David, any final remarks before we let you go, my friend?
No, thanks for tuning in, and just do something good for Huntsville.
Awesome. Can you say, I know you're not involved in athletics, but can you give us an Eat 'em Up Cats before you go?
Eat 'em up, cats.
All right, there we go. Once again, David Thompson.
I love the Bearcats. I love having athletes in my classes, and the coaches are just fantastic. So we're all working together, and we're all in the same thing. I'm just so grateful for our president, Alyssa White at Sam Houston, too, who just has a heart for service, and a university where the motto is a measure of a life is its service, because without that, it's just as encouraging to me as a professor. So anyway, yes,
awesome.
All those things, fantastic.
Well, David, thanks again for being here, my friend. Once again, David Thompson, the chemistry. I was about to say the chemistry director, but you're
no. Just a chemistry professor.
The chemistry professor at Sam Houston State
I have a lot of
University.
fantastic colleagues in chemistry too. So.
Awesome. Well, we'll step aside. We'll take a break. When we come back, we'll have more interviews. Stay with us. We are live from Farmhouse Cafe. It is the Huntsville Walker County Chamber of Commerce monthly small business breakfast. We'll be back in just a few moments. Stay with us, friends.
Good morning, everyone. Here's a look at news brought to you by Sam Houston Memorial Funeral Home, Big Iron Auctions, and Uberito Fresh Mex. At this week's special session of the Walker County Commissioners Court, commissioners looked at moving forward with a strategic planning initiative using interlocal agreements and purchasing cooperatives as the source for solicitation and the appointment of a committee. County Auditor Patricia Allen told commissioners initially there would be a facilitator. The facilitator would work with the court and the mission, the vision, the organizational goals, and the core of the kind of the rooftop of the strategic plan.
Then the second phase of that with the same facilitator would be to work with the departments and separate, creating their goals that kind of conform to the organization. And then the third part is basically the facilitator meeting with the public and getting a strategic wish list. Is not a good idea, but the community's input in the things that are important to them that they would like to see the county move forward with.
Commissioners approved. Judge Danny Pierce will appoint a committee. I'm sure you've noticed prices rising locally. The Consumer Price Index for all urban consumers increased 1.3% in June on a seasonally adjusted basis after rising 1% in May. Over the last 12 months, the All Items Index increased 9.1% before seasonal adjustment. The Energy Index rose 41.6% over the last year, the largest 12-month increase since the period ending April 1980. The Food Index increased 10.4% for the 12 months ending June, the largest 12-month increase since the period ending February 1981. And Texas Comptroller Glenn Hager announced he will send cities, counties, transit systems, and special purpose taxing districts $1.03 billion in local sales tax allocations for July. That's 15.3% more than in July of 2021. Keeping you informed with the most accurate and timely news, I'm Larry Krippenau, 101.7 KSAM.
All right, friends, welcome back. We're rocking and rolling this morning. I like that jam when Ray Hernandez, the president of the Huntsville Walker County Chamber of Commerce, steps into the hot seat. We gotta have the jams, man. Good morning, Ray. What's going on, my friend?
Good morning. We're doing great. Let me put this phone on airplane mode so we're not disturbed here.
Well, as always, it's a fun morning here. I wasn't able to be here last month, but I always want to use this opportunity. One, I appreciate you guys being gracious, just allowing us, to have our show here this morning as well, just to promote good in our community, but also what's going on at the Chamber. That's why we do this.
No, Rob, I think it's fantastic. As you see, we have a great crowd coming in this morning for Small Business Breakfast, and so I think there's a lot of energy both here in the room today and I think in our community for what's happening now and for the future.
Something that I talk about this quite a bit, Ray, is just how special this community is. And anytime you're in an event like the Chamber or even service organizations as Rotary, you can literally feel the compassion, the hard work, just the goodness of this community.
Yeah, I think I always love talking about my son, our son Joaquin. We moved from North Texas here. We've been here 3 years now, and so I asked him the other day, "What's the difference in school?" He said, "Dad, I think, people are more respectful here. We lived in a great community there in North Texas. He says, but here it's just very different. People are more approachable, and people are willing to lend a hand." Him and my wife were yesterday at Boys and Girls Club. They have a new playground, and so they were out there volunteering. And I when I got home last night, how was it? He says, "Dad, it was brutal. It was really hot, but you know what? It was a lot of fun."
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, Ray, you've been here, correct me, going on 4 years now?
Three
years.
Three.
And I think my first year, I drove up to be part of our radio mash, and that's where I first had met you, and you had just came on as the president. So what have you seen? I know there's a lot that has happened, and you've done such a tremendous job. I always mention just you and a few others in this community when I first got here that made me feel welcome. Then once you're here, everybody makes you feel welcome.
That's right.
But Ray, what are some of the great things that you have seen specifically with the Chamber, under your past 3 years of leadership and as we continue on?
I think we've seen an awakening. Trey Warden was the chair when I came on board. Dale Underwood, Dr. Christy Vian, and now Stephanie Pitts. And I think we've seen a transformation of leadership and really an awakening. And so that awakening really helped us encourage folks to get off the sidelines. Trey loved using the word team, and really we've made that an action word, a verb, not just a noun. And so really pulling people more together. And Rob, as you know, you've heard me say, it takes many hands to lift up a community. And we have we have very strong hands, but we need more hands. And we need more people to come to the table and to share their insights, share their wisdom, share their solutions, and share their challenges so we can help them. And so I think if I point to one thing, that's the biggest thing that I think has really helped us transform in the last 3 years.
What I've really enjoyed just being a member of the Chamber is seeing there's our good friend Miss Tish back there. We're going to have another show by the Tish and I. We had so much fun a while back with Curves, but we're going to be on coming up here in the next few weeks. But one thing that I love about being a member of this Chamber, just as Tish came over here, she always brings the energy. Everybody has their form of energy that they bring, and nobody, and I mean this from the bottom of my heart, and I'm not putting down any other community, any other chamber, but this Chamber makes you feel like you are part of something special, and everybody interacts with everybody. I love these breakfasts because I typically don't see the same people sitting with the same people. They move around, and I think that's so important. I know you get comfortable with your group, but I also think in order to be successful in business, you got to get comfortable in different groups, and that's what I see in this Chamber, Ray, and I think a lot of that stems from your leadership, those that serve on the board, those that are heavily involved. That is something that is so unique about this Chamber that I absolutely love.
I think it goes back to that element that there's a place at the table for everyone. Sometimes people, they're all welcome. Every community welcomes people, but we, I think, do something a little bit different. We reach out. We reach around the corner. We step out of our comfort zone and engage folks where they're at. And really, it goes back to a fundamental aspect of how you form relationships. You got to go where people are at and bring them in. It's different. It's no different than any other organization. Think about a church, right? If they just sat inside a building every day and expected the community to come to them, it would look very different. in churches and other organizations reach out into the community. They go and visit folks where they're at. And I think that's what the chamber should be doing. And I think, we're very blessed. We have a lot of great ambassadors, volunteers, board members that continue to share the story of the work that the chamber is doing to assist the community, to lift up the community. And so when you have that kind of team, that army of folks out there sharing the good word, it really, really helps.
It's good stuff, Ray. And again, I just appreciate you making me feel welcome, but then more importantly, so many others. First time I met you, like, here's my cell phone number, call me. Oh, by the way, if you know someone else who wants to join the chamber, give them my number. I'm like, are you crazy? He's like, no, man, that's how I operate.
That's right.
I think that's awesome, because that makes people feel special. They know that they have a connection. And I've been involved in other organizations where you don't get to talk to the president, and some organizations, they've just got so much going on, and that's how they're structured. Yeah. But I think that's one reason that makes this chamber so successful is because you, as the president, are so active in the community, and not just with business leaders, but you are active. I've seen you at athletic event. You're our sound engineer. You help us. You help us engineer some sounds there for the Hornets. Yes. So, Ray, before we let you go, just any final thoughts? It's going to be a tremendous morning. Folks still have time to get over here, by the way. You don't have to be a member of the chamber. There is a very small fee associated with the breakfast. Come out here to Farmhouse and learn more about the chamber. Final thoughts, Ray?
Yeah, well, I want to say thank you to Brian with Farmhouse. We do this every month. He does not serve breakfast typically, but he opens up his doors for this event, for the chamber. In fact, I was having dinner here with my wife a couple nights ago, and she was like, what about going to Farmhouse for breakfast tomorrow? I said, they're not open typically during the week. They only open once a month for the chamber. And so I want to thank Brian. I couldn't thank him enough. He's been a solid supporter of what we're doing. But my final comment is just, it's hot outside. The economy's still going good. Our sales tax is through the roof. Huntsville itself hit over 12%. New Waverly's still seeing some great growth. Riverside as well, Dodge. And so I would just ask folks, when they think about where they're going to spend their dollars, whether it's with a chamber member or not, try to spend those dollars here in Walker County. Because those monies, we're listening to Larry Crippen earlier today on his report. He was talking about the comptroller sending money to communities. I think he mentioned $1.9 billion in sales tax revenue.
I asked you, can we just get $1 billion of that?
Yeah, and I said, he's not sending it to us. He's sending it back to us. We collected it, and then we sent it to him, and then he dispersed it back to the community, right?
He drew a little interest on it.
Those, yeah, I'm sure. And those are tax dollars that are collected here,
That's good.
Sales tax dollars, and we need those dollars to help continue to bring great things and make sure that we're moving in the right direction. But what a great crowd, Rob! I appreciate the opportunity to be here.
Got it.
And I appreciate the lake and KSAM to help us tell the story of what's happening in this community. It's a fantastic place, and I'm very blessed and honored to be here.
Thank you, Ray. Once again, Ray Hernandez, the Huntsville Walker County Chamber of Commerce president. And by the way, listen to what I say, Huntsville, Walker County. It's not just about Huntsville.
Absolutely.
So if you're within the walls of Walker County, I'll even say this, even if you're outside of Walker County, come on in, because you may have a business in the Conroe area that wants to get involved in Walker County. Join the chamber. You don't have to live here to be a member. Ray, thank you so much for all that you do, my friend. We'll step aside. We'll take a break. When we come back, we'll have one final interview, and then I got to eat because this breakfast is good. Stay with us, friends. We'll be back. This is Good Morning Huntsville. We'll continue here in just a few moments.
Rob Hipp, and here's today's inspiration about the main thing. 2 Peter 1:3 in the New Living Translation reads, "By His divine power, God has given us everything we need for living a godly life. We have received all of this by coming to know Him, the one who called us to Himself by means of His marvelous glory and excellence. We have everything we need to conquer every day." What are you focusing on today? Are you worried about your job? Trying to figure out how to pay the bills? Has anxiety cast a cloud over you that is resulting in fear and doubt? Friends, don't allow yourself to dwell on the things that allow worry, anxiety, and stress to live in your life. Yes, you need to have a job, pay bills, and so on, but don't allow that to be the main thing. Here's the key. God has given us everything we need. When you enter into a relationship with Jesus, we are called to focus on Him and trust that He is in control. Instead of worrying and having doubt, pray, have faith, and trust in Jesus. Allow Him to be the main thing. For previous messages and to share today's inspiration with a friend, visit today'sinspiration.org.
All right, friends, bringing it back down here for the final few minutes, live from the Huntsville Walker County Chamber of Commerce monthly business breakfast. I always want to say, like, bringing it down, Dwayne. We're bringing it down, man.
Yes, sir.
Hey, well, good to see you. I'm joined now by my good friend, Mr. Dwayne Clark of Lone Star Security and Investigations. You got a big event coming up on Saturday. You got to bring the family to this starting at noon. Tell us a little bit more about it. I'm excited. I'll be there. It's going to be a blast, my friend.
Yes, sir. So we're opening up our training academy. Have our state-of-the-art firearm simulators open to the public. These firearm simulators allow you to come in and shoot without ammunition. Gives you the opportunity to train and develop the skills that you need to work on.
I think one of the biggest things, too, that you just said is open to the public.
Correct.
So this isn't something that, you got to be a police officer or some trained person. And the safety of this, you're not working with live ammunition. And as I said yesterday, if you want to come in and just experience this, there's no age limit. There's no live ammunition. This is something that you can come out, you can bring the kids to, and let them kind of see these scenarios as well. I think it's something that's pretty neat.
And it, like I said, it helps develop skills, whether you're doing our entertainment side, where we have games where you can be shooting zombies and skeletons. You're still developing those skills of hand-eye coordination, target acquisition, and just develop those. And then we can move into the educational side of it, where we're actually running those scenarios of whether we shoot or don't shoot.
It's Lone Star Security and Investigations. They're located, I've been saying, near Climatech Secure Store. It's actually a little bit farther north on the feeder of 45, right at the turn of 22nd Street. But we're going to be there Saturday at noon. So come on out, bring the family, bring the kids. Here's the deal. The first 50 people, there's going to be some free barbecue sandwiches, some shaved ice, a lot of events going on. Tell us a little bit more about what you have planned for Saturday, Dwayne.
So we've coordinated with Boss Hog Barbecue out of Cleveland, Texas. They're going to come up and do free barbecue, like you said, for the first 50 people. We got chilled out shaved ice coming in.
And everybody needs to chill out right now.
Right now, with everything that's going on in the world and this heat.
Yeah,
absolutely. And then, like I said, we're just going to turn our simulators on and let them run for free that day. We will be doing some raffle drawings up there also throughout the day. So it's a good opportunity for people to come out and just experience what we're offering.
Lone Star Security and Investigations. When you're talking about security investigations, this is the man. A lot of experience. He hasn't been doing this for a day or two. Been around for quite some time. You have worked for other companies, decided to venture out, start your own. And, Dwayne, you're doing some incredible work. Tell us a little bit about just how you got into it, man.
So I moved to Huntsville. I retired out of the Army back in 1998 and got into private security. I felt it was a way to still serve my community and provide services that people would need. So I realized the other day I've been doing this for 25 years now. And with that experience, I felt that if I kept that experience to myself and didn't share it as far as teaching, it was wasted knowledge. So that's why I got into teaching and decided to open up the academy. So I teach anything and everything to do with firearms, along with security classes, license to carry, and then the firearm simulators.
And I think that the state that we're in right now, there's a lot of concern and worry and anxiety when you mention the word firearm. But the truth is, if you handle it properly and you have the training, that it is a very safe and effective tool to protect you and your family during times, and that's what your simulators do, and that's what you teach people, Dwayne.
Yeah, it's unfortunate that we live in a society that we're in right now, but I feel that if you develop those skills and have that little bit of knowledge, it better prepares you for what if something happens.
Well, Dwayne, I met you a couple of years ago we had a Christmas party up at the radio station at KSAM. And I'll tell you, from the moment I met you, this sounds a little bit corny, but when you're around this guy, you feel safe because you have such a wealth of knowledge about safety and security. Like, if something ever came up, I want this guy on my side. I want Dwayne on my side, man.
Well, and a lot of it is just about situational awareness. It's about paying attention to what's going on around us. We get so wrapped up in technology and what we're doing, and a lot of times we're not paying attention to what's going on around us in the world. And it's little simple things, and that's what the scenarios are kind of nice about. The one that we kind of looked at yesterday, it was just a technician working on a door in a apartment complex. And most people would walk by him and not pay attention to him. And you saw in a matter of a few seconds, he drops a screwdriver, picks up a firearm, and he's engaged in you, trying to take what you've earned and what you've worked towards. So I think that's a important part of working that training and developing those skills.
Because, friends, it can happen that quick. And that's what Dwayne helps to teach you in those scenarios. So, again, join us. It's going to be on Saturday, coming up just a few days from now. I'll be out there with KSAM, of course, and we will be there starting at noon. And it'll go on until Dwayne says, all right, it's time to go. So come on out. Come by at noon. I know it's going to be a little warm outside, but I've been out there, a lot of trees, a lot of shade, so you're not going to burn up. And plus, with that chill-out shaved ice, you can enjoy that. There'll also be the barbecue sandwiches. Please come out. Let's support another great member of our community and a business here that is giving back. It's Mr. Dwayne Clark with Lone Star Security and Investigations. Again, just right up the road from Climatech Secure Storage on that feeder. Take a turn at 22nd Street. You won't miss it. We're going to have a big yellow banner that says now open.
Yes, sir. Plenty of room for parking across the street, so we'll be ready for it.
Awesome. Dwayne, appreciate you, my
Thank
friend.
you, sir.
Enjoy the breakfast this morning. It's going to be a good one. So we'll step aside, take a break. When we come back, we'll have our final thoughts and wrap up as we are approaching 8 a.m. I got to get rolling here in about a minute. Stay with us. This is your show. It's Good Morning Huntsville, here powered by KSAM. All right, friends, we appreciate you joining us today. Don't have any this day in history or today is or any of that kind of juice for you, but we will have that coming back up next week. Again, thanks for joining us here this morning on Good Morning Huntsville. Make sure to join the Chamber of Commerce. You can find out more information. Just go on Google, search for Huntsville Walker County Chamber of Commerce. If you're a business owner or an employee of a business, it doesn't matter. Even if you don't have a job, there's a lot of folks out there that are retired, even folks that are looking for work that join the Chamber. It's a great way to network and make connections. It will take you to the next level of what you're seeking with your career and where you want to be. Friends, as always, I appreciate you. We love you guys so much. Many of you were joining us this morning. Stephanie Pitts, Sally Hosey, my beautiful bride, Bridget Brennan. Many of you, I didn't have a chance to get to those, but thanks for being a part of this show this morning. It is your show. We'll be back on next Wednesday, bright and early, from Huntsville Family Dental. Until then, as always, reminding you this morning that we're not strong enough alone to make it on our own. We need each other, friends. Provide a word of encouragement. Lend a hand of support. Somebody out there needs you. We'll see you next week. Until then, good morning, and God bless Huntsville. Have a beautiful day.